Magic of Grandad Shed, 7 minutes and counting. Please welcome Mick Dyrestron.
Good afternoon. I suppose growing up as a young fella, I struggled with a lot of things. It took me till I was about 7 before I was toilet trained. No word of a lie. Couldn't catch till I was 10. And things dawned on me slowly, and now I'm 42, and my grandfather passed away 8 years ago, and I've been coming here for 19 years, always thinking about coming up here and doing this. And I suppose it's taken all of those 8 years since Grandad passed for me to stand up here and tell you about him and his shed. We've all got grandparents, and all grandfathers have a shed. And there's a magic in those sheds, which you all know about, and I love. And the reason I love my grandfather was because of those times we spent in that shed together. The laughter, the feelings, the moments that we shared was something I'll never forget. Now, to understand a little bit about my granddad and his own shed, I'm going to take you back a little bit. So Grandad, he was an old bushie, stuck in the city all his life. He was a clicker, which was an apprentice bootmaker. He used to cut the leather. Eventually he ended up running the boot factory for years and years. But he was always wanting to be in the bush, and every time he'd go around there he'd be telling yarns, or he'd be arcing back to what he didn't get out in the bush. And he was stuck in the city, he grew up in the Depression. And that sense of what Grandad was in that environment in the shed, it was the last bastion for him. He had a really loving, dearing, adoring partner, but none of that stuff was allowed inside, out in the shed. When you go out in the shed and all the magic was there, there'd be stuff up on the wall. He had old bits of leather that he'd cut up. He was making Scottish dancing shoes on the side to get a bit of extra money for Duck Week. He had these old ties that he'd turn into pot plants. Oh, horrible. He made heaps of them and he sold them at markets. He was always looking for a way to make a bit of extra coin. And when I'd go around there, he'd get me in on these projects and life would come alive. You know, little kids my age, when I was growing up, they'd want to go to Disneyland. I didn't want to go anywhere but Grandad's shed. It was the place to be. So slowly things start dawning on me about what it is that Grandad gave me in his shed. And for so long I thought it was those moments. And people talk about you can sometimes remember what people say, but you'll never forget how someone makes you feel. And I always thought it was a bit more than that. I always thought you never forget someone's laugh. And he's a man that I fondly remember his laughter. And there are other people that I meet along the way, and I can see them coming down the street and I know their laugh. It's the first thing I pick up on. So I always thought that was the magic of his shed. But recently it's dawned on me it wasn't that at all. See, Grandad would have all these blokes come to his shed. He was a beer maker. There's craft beer pioneers now, they think they've just started it. My granddad was doing that 35 years ago. He used to bribe the guy who drove the CUB trucks to get the malt from CUB, and he'd make up his own little pot of gold. He called it the 2.5 cent bar. It was magic. And you'd go down there and there'd be crooks, there'd be bums, there'd be guys that he met at church, and they'd all be there and they'd all be welcomed, and they'd all be drinking pots out of his little Pluto gun in the shed. You know, you'd walk into this shed and you'd see the leather on the walls. There'd be a map of the Northern Territory there in the corner. There was a poem by Rudyard Kipling, If. Was always, I remember that being right there on the wall. But all these vagabonds gathered around, they were all imperfect. And my granddad was imperfect. It was horrible. In a lot of ways, he did a lot of bad stuff, you know. But he was imperfect, and all these people that he embraced and brought in around him, they were all imperfect too. And you spend all your life wondering, it's about those feelings. No, it's not. It's about the fact that he was imperfect and that we were embraced in that imperfection. We were imperfect, he's imperfect. No one's got it bloody right, but we're all having a crack. And he was the one that taught me all that. And I didn't work it out till 4 weeks ago. You know? So he wrote a lot of poems. He was very, very successful with his writing. And my grandparents, God bless them, one of the great imperfections of my grandfather was that he snored. Not just snored, like we used to ride our bikes up there because he'd go to bed as soon as it got dark. We'd ride the bikes up there, and here he'd be snoring. The windows were rattling, and we'd be laughing our heads off out the front of the elm tree, just killing us of laughing. You could hear him from 20 metres away. And Grandma would be there peering over the glasses, laughing at us, laughing at him, and she'd invite us in for a lemon cordial, and it was just a magic spot, you know. And she'd be sitting there, and she was sitting at a table one night, I remember. She gave us some lemon cordial. So sweet, made your mouth clap, ice sting, you know, nothing like it. So cold and so beautiful, and that warmth of being in that kitchen. And I'm watching Grandma do what she was doing, and she's kneeling with her ass in the air on the stool. She's got a thesaurus, and look, what are you doing? She said, oh, I'm working on a poem for Grandad. She was going through it, and she was actually doing all the hard work. And I never really thought about that until 4 weeks ago either, but it was her that was the one behind all these little imperfections. He'd write the poetry, and then she would perfect it for him. So you can imagine this, right? He welcomed everyone, he even welcomed mice into his little shed, right? So he wrote this poem called Minnie and Jimmy, and it wasn't really his poem, it was Grandma and Grandad's poem. They wrote it together. And I go in the shed one day, and here he is with a broom, he's sweeping and he's cussing and he's cursing. I always loved it when I caught him cussing because it was just the funniest thing you'd ever seen. But he's having to go up these mice that he thought were his mates, and they bred crazily. So this is the story of Minnie and Jimmy that my grandparents wrote. There once was a mouse called Minnie. She had 2 brown ears and was skinny. She had a long tail and she moved like a snail. She wore a red, green and blue pinny. Now along came Jimmy. Whilst riding one day, saw Minnie. He got such a fright, he fell off his bike at the sight of a red, green and blue pinny. Now Minnie and Jimmy got wed. They set up house in Grandad's old shed. And from mice that were 2, they grew and they grew till now they were by far too many. So Grandad bought Matthew the cat to teach those mice what's this and what's that. And whilst he was dozing, in the freezer they froze him. And that was the end of Paul Matt.